Time to say goodbye to the season, to the season, to the season. Goodbye, Jay Woodcroft and Ken Holland, Ken Holland, and Ken Holland. Welcome to the Oilers Nation radio funeral for the 2024 season, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for joining us today.
Welcome to the Friday episode of the podcast. Things are going great. Everybody's excited to be here. The look on Dan's face says it all. We are doing a podcast because we are contractually obliged, not because we want to talk about the Oilers.
just here so I don't get fined?
Yep. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Well, lots to talk about, I suppose, if we have to. So welcome to Oilers Nation Radio. It's episode Who Gives a Shit. I am Who Gives a Fuck, and the rest of the crew is here too. Now, we're going to start off with the delicious debate for our friends at Wendy's. But first, I got to tell you about how Wendy's is letting you win real food with your fantasy teams this year. And our friends at Daily Faceoff are helping make it happen. For those of you who smoke the competition, Wendy's is rewarding you with weekly prizes that have you savoring the true taste of victory. But if your fantasy team doesn't deliver you a W, get the new Wendy's barbecue bacon cheeseburger delivered to your door instead so you don't have to show anyone your very real tears. Sign up to play Wendy's Daily Face-Off Survivor today and win weekly prizes like the new barbecue bacon cheeseburger from Wendy's, available now for a limited time only. If you would like to play, and I encourage you to do so, go to dailyfaceoffsurvivor.com, dailyfaceoffsurvivor.com. I have already been eliminated from the week.
Me too.
Because I continue to bet on Oilers options that are presented to me like a sucker. However, I encourage you to do it. Go win some food. Barbecue bacon cheeseburgers, delicious. We all had them. We love them. I might have one on the way to the airport today, but we'll get to that. Delicious debate. Tyler, what do you got for us?
It is a multiple choice question, gentlemen. What will happen before our next episode of Oilers Nation Radio? A coaching change. B, a goalie trade. C, both. D, neither.
Who wants to jump in?
Next one's on Tuesday. There's only one game between now and then, right?
No, they play Monday against the Islanders.
Oh, that's right. We do play Monday when we get home. Oh, I say nothing. I don't know. I literally don't know what they can do in terms of any movement right now. I don't think that a coaching change is going to change anything because I think the issues are on the ice. I don't think a GM change is even that possible right now. I don't think it's that highly likely, whether you like it or not. I just don't think that's the route they're going to go. Trading, I don't see how you trade that. There's no trade to be made. There's no one's coming in to save the day. So I literally don't think anything gets done between now and Tuesday at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Before you guys give your answers, I tend to agree with Rick, by the way. On the 32 Thoughts podcast, let me give you a little bit of information. That one just came out this morning, and there's some tidbits from Friedman in there that I would like to read with you. Maybe that'll change your opinions. I quote, "There's a team that's waiting for something to happen. Jack Campbell going on waivers happened, but now they're waiting for something else. You can see it, and they're going to force the hands of the organization to do something. Earlier this week, I wrote in my notes that they recognized Jay Woodcroft's record. He's got the best winning percentage coming into this season in Oilers history. He's only coached one full season, and they don't want to make the change. But if this keeps going, you're going to be forced into a position to do something. I think the Oilers are in that position right now. Something is going to happen, whether that's a trade or a coaching change. The Oilers are going to have to do something. One thing I'll say is that there are people in the league who believe the Oilers were on the precipice of a big move on Wednesday. I don't know what happened. I don't know where it went, but I've had people saying to me, watch the Oilers in goal. They're up to something, and they were not talking about Jack Campbell."
So there was a rumor yesterday that, I know this is just whatever, but there was someone that said that somebody was at the game last night from Philly, and they were watching Skinner. So that says something like a Skinner plus for Carter Hart.
Here's the thing with Carter Hart that Frank said on our show. And again, Frank is the one saying this, but he brought up the 2018 Hockey Canada thing and said, you're probably not making a move on Carter Hart until you find out what's going on there. So
great point.
I don't think that's it.
That's
unless the Oilers have something from the league that's like, oh no, like he wasn't involved in that, you're good. But
so what do you think then, Tyler? Heard a little info from Friedman. You asked the the delicious debate question. Wendy's wants to know, what do you think?
I think my answer is A. I think a coaching change happens before our next episode. Not that I want it to happen. That's just, I think it's the path of least resistance, right? Like we're talking about a very easy swap to make. This team to an extent just looks like they don't have a lot of fight in them right now. And I think a coaching change could kick them in the behind. It is wildly unacceptable that it's come to this again. It is an indictment on the core of this team. But son of a bitch, that might just be the easiest play. Cause like, yeah, sure, you could fire Ken Holland, but like, is anyone in that locker room going to be like, oh, damn, our GM got fired, we better play better? No, it's not going to change anything on the ice in the short term. If you're looking for a spark, it's a coaching change. So
how much more spark do they need? Like, I just don't get it at this point. And I don't disagree with what you're saying, Tyler, but it's just like you send down Jack Campbell, who's apparently this well-liked guy in the locker room. And then like, there's all this other stuff, like the fact you've lost 9 of your first 12 games. Like that should be enough spark. It shouldn't take a coaching change. And like the performances from so many players are absolutely ridiculous at this point. And like the effort is crazy. And I just can't understand why stuff needs to keep happening to people in this organization for these players to understand that they are underperforming at a massive level and they just can't do it on the ice. So I'll just stay away from the coaching change, although that's probably more likely, but I think a trade might be the one coming down the pipes here. If the Oilers truly believe that Jay Woodcroft is the guy, then the only other message is to make a trade, whoever it may be. And I don't know, hopefully it's someone between the pipes. I hope it's not Stuart Skinner, if that seems to be maybe a bit of a rumor too, but we'll see. I think it's a goalie that comes in before Tuesday at 1:30, I guess.
I'll jump in. I don't think anything happens. Is that an option on there? I just, So I think that, well, first of all, here's what I think will happen. But before our next episode, I don't think anything happens. But here's the order of operations that I see. If this continues, Jay Woodcroft is going to be the one that pays the price for it, whether he deserves it or not. I know Friedman in the quote I just read said, well, they don't want to fire Woody. Like, we know the record. We know how good he's been as a coach for this team. But if you look at league history, it's always kind of like fire the coach, make a trade, fire the GM. It's always kind of like that sequence of events all the time. And that's just, I feel like they're going to follow that same playbook. But by the next episode on Tuesday, I don't think anything happens.
Mm-hmm.
Dan?
Yeah, I'm with you, Bag Milk. I don't know. Like, the last time we had a lame duck GM making transactions for this team, we brought Brandon Manning in. So I'm not hopeful that anything happens before the end of the week. I would say if I was a betting or a gambling person, I would probably guess that the coach is going to be the move because, again, like you guys said, it's just the lazy, boring answer that every NHL team gives these days to try and spark their team. But it's really short-sighted for this team to go ahead and let Jay Woodcroft go at this point when you really don't know what you have in this as a head coach in him. And you're looking at a 10-game stretch defining his coaching career in Edmonton. It's annoying to me as a fan. So yeah, I'm hopeful that it's nothing. But if we see a coach go by the end of the weekend, I wouldn't be surprised.
The thing is like, the players are going to be the one that pull themselves out of it. I think it was Nuge last night that said, we're going through it. The only way through it is together. And Woody isn't telling Darnell Nurse not to dump the puck in at the blue line in the third period. He's just not doing that. The players are the ones that are making the mistakes, drastic errors, poor decisions. I know it's going to be the coach. I just don't think it happens by Tuesday. Tyler, I cut you off. What were you going to say?
I was just going to quickly jump in with a tweet from Rashog that says he expects Woodcroft to be behind the bench Saturday and all coaching changes will be evaluated at the end of the road trip. So we will see what ends up happening there. I guess maybe it's a situation where they just didn't want to do it on the road.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, they're currently on the road right now. They're not going to. I guess they did do it with Todd McClellan. Remember that sad photo of him at the airport when he got fired, and he's like sitting at general boarding with everyone else on the way home. Shit, good times. So, what's the answer? Anybody think there's something drastic that happens between now and Tuesday?
Like the Friedman thing is interesting, right? Because I mean, if he's talking about a deal and it's not Campbell, I don't necessarily think that means Skinner going out the door. I think that maybe is they have a guy out there that they like. They're going to make the money work somehow. Maybe it's a low cost option and they're just bringing in like a younger goalie on his ELC or second contract or someone who's going to be retained enough that they can make it work. I don't think they're going to give up on Stuart Skinner after 12 subpar games as a team and only 6 starts from Stu. So I don't know. I think if it's a goalie trade right now, I don't know if it's something like major. Like I'm not holding my breath for a Saros or a Carter Hart right now. I'm looking at a
James
pending
Reimer.
UFA. Yeah, like I honestly think those might be the names. So
Perfect. That'll help.
Yeah.
It's
Can't wait to trade assets for James Reimer.
Oh, no.
oh man.
The only good thing about the goaltending right now is that Skinner wasn't at fault to the loss last night. That's really the only positive out of this is like Stuart Skinner was at least half decent yesterday, and hopefully there's some momentum he can take forward from there. But boy, oh boy, if Darnell Nurse wasn't on the goal line in the opening minutes of that game, we might be having a completely different conversation about that too today.
That's a good point.
This is still an offensive team. They need their default measure has to be offense. They can't do that right now. Nothing's working. Everybody who has any aspect in the on ice is partly to blame. The coaches, the GM, the players, the goalies, the defense, everybody's to blame. I don't think there's one that's even more than the other. This is literally what Connor said the other day, a death by 1,000 cuts. They're all getting their little slices. It makes no sense. This is like, I don't understand how everything can go wrong all at once and not even like start to let up at all. Like again, what were our shots last night? North of 35?
41.
Yeah, but how many of those were good scoring chances?
But they go in the net sometimes. Like that one by Hyman down right on the goal line there. Mm-hmm. That went in last year.
So I agree with Rick. Everybody sucks. But
everybody sucks. And I'm not going to sit here and point one more than the other. This is on everybody who gets an Oilers paycheck every 2 weeks or 1 week or month or whatever the hell it is.
Weekly.
Did they get paid? Fuck.
I don't know.
But here's the thing, like, so I wrote 3 key things is up at OilersNation.com. That's my post-game feature. And I wrote about Stuart Skinner being like, it is weird to say that a guy who finished the night with an 833 wasn't all that bad. But when you have an 833, nobody's going to buy that. And you could pick out any player on the roster, like literally anyone. And I'll be like, well, they did this, they did that, they did this. That did not help last night. And I think Stu's right in that mix. So I agree with Rick. Everybody sucks.
So I don't know what, well, I'm very sensitive. So anytime that someone's like you go on Twitter, they're like, oh, the GM, I hate the GM, blah, blah, blah. Well, the GM put together a really good roster, whether you like it or not. This entire roster is underperforming. They are letting down the GM. All sorts of the consensus pick in the NHL was the Oilers are at least going to they're going to push. If not win the whole thing, they're going to push. This is a roster. They are ready to go. It is their time. Their window's open, blah, whatever all that bullshit is. They're being let down by everybody. It makes no sense. I literally think this is just some gigantic curse that our parents sold out there so they could watch 5 Cups in 7 years back in the 80s. But I literally have nothing else after this.
Well, I have another point on just things that have gone wrong. I don't think it's unfair to sit and look at Connor and Leon and go, those two aren't producing and they need to. If those two get a goal against the Dallas Stars, if one of those two creates a goal, they don't have to score, but get a big assist, right? Set someone up on the back door. If they do that once against Dallas, we're getting a point, maybe 2. If they do that once against San Jose, we're getting a point and maybe 2. Those two haven't come through at all. And Connor isn't doing Connor things. He last night he had a couple shifts where he was buzzing, but a couple of just gnarly turnovers that are very un-McDavid-like. And Leon Draisaitl, if he's not playing with Connor, doesn't look like he wants to try all that hard. So I think those two deserve some blame right now.
Leon Draisaitl yesterday defensively was an absolute joke. That first goal they allowed, I know it was Dylan Holloway that obviously missed his guy in the slot there, but Draisaitl literally is just skating around and just moving his stick to make it look like he's doing something.
That wasn't Holloway's man.
Well, whoever it was, CC Holloway, whatever.
No, That was Leon's guy.
Oh, it
Leon
was
should have
okay.
been there. Holloway was
But-
going to his marker. I mean, it's the only
I
way you
guess
could
this
say
is kinda-
Holloway. Yeah, that was Holloway's guy. Is if he turned around and went, "Oh, no one's covering this guy. I need to somehow cover both guys. I'll stay by this guy because he's
Mhm.
more dangerous."
Well, like to
And
me, that's a lack of aware. Like I'm with Rick. I know that's not Dylan Holloway's man. And if you're playing zone defense, you have to move to the zone which you're supposed to be in. But there's also a complete lack of awareness by the Oilers in the defensive zone right now, where Dylan Holloway did not. I'm not blaming him, by the way. That he did not look over his shoulder and be like, "Oh shit, nobody's here. I'm just gonna move," because everything's off. Nobody's feeling confident. Nobody's playing reactively. They're overthinking literally every detail, and it's going poorly.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's a lack of confidence. They can't score. They're not confident anywhere on the ice. If you're not confident, this is such a between the ears situation right now. And I know a lot of people aren't going to accept that because whatever, we just don't accept the between the ears problems. But this is, and it's only getting worse. Like it's bad.
It is bad.
That's the thing. That's the thing too. Is you keep seeing all these things like, oh, the Oilers just need to win 15 of their next 25 games or whatever. It's like they can barely win a period. They can barely win a shift. How are they supposed to win 15 of however many they need to do? Like, it is crazy to think this team is going anywhere but south at this point, unfortunately. And obviously, it can't get much worse, I don't think. But
Yeah, it can't go south there, Liam.
yeah, we are literally 32 until San Jose plays fewer games than we do, I guess. But either
we get
way,
another
like,
expansion team.
yeah, it's just like this team has so many problems, and we can talk about it until we're blue in the face how good they were last season, and how Skinner was making all these saves, and how good they were defensively, and Draisaitl and McDavid were doing all this, and the depth forwards were scoring. It's like, but none of that is happening, and until a lot of things change, this team is not getting better.
Yeah. Here, I'll share a little bit of Frank set like a marker today on Daily Faceoff Live, and he tweeted it too. He said, if the Oilers can just get back to level by the halfway point of the season, that should be their goal. So you have 41 points in the first 41 games, and then focus on the back half of the season. To do that, they need to go 18-11 in their next 29. So
That's not.
that doesn't seem that bad.
No, that should be easy for these guys.
But that's just for them to get back to an 82-point pace. This is so insane. How did it get this bad?
Alcohol's cheap in Seattle, right?
Yeah, it's going to be very, very cheap. Hey, hang on. Can I push this button real quick?
Yeah.
I've got my home buttons here.
Playoffs? We'll talk about
Oh.
playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
Everything is pain. Everything is painful. Well, I don't know where we go from there. Let's dig into a little bit more about last night's loss to the San Jose Sharks. But for our friends at DoorDash, I need to ask you who delivered, you know? I need to ask you who delivered. For a limited time, our listeners can get 25% off and zero delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter code NATION25. That is 25% off, up to a $10 value, and zero delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and use the code NATION25. Don't forget, it's code NATION25, 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Offer valid in Canada, subject to change. Terms do apply. I will confess to all of you right now, I did DoorDash a sympathy donaire last night. I was hoping it was going to help.
So that was before the game then.
It was a
Oh.
sympathy donaire. I thought I was going to do my part to turn the tides. It's like Liam went and bought some green bananas.
Yeah.
We're all trying to do our part here. I even reshuffled where I sit in my house.
Mm-hmm.
I got my donaire. I moved locations. I adjusted. DoorDash tried to do their part. I tried to do mine. But now I need to ask you who did do their part. Boys, who delivered? Tyler, for our friends at DoorDash, what do you got?
Everyone who tuned in to Oilers Nation After Dark last night,
yeah.
it was a record high show, and the chat was this very unique blend of people who were sad and consoling each other, people who were angry and wanted to see heads roll, but they all came and showed their passion and showed what makes Oilers Nation the best.
Rick, what do you got? Our friends at DoorDash want to know who delivered.
I got nothing.
That's a video clip right there. Who delivered?
No, I think the equipment team got the gear there on time. So let's give it out to the equipment team right now.
Shout out to the equipment team. They've got the toughest job. Imagine sadly packing up all the Oilers gear in San Jose last night to get on the plane. Anyway, Nation Dan, you're up. For our friends at DoorDash, who delivered?
I'm going to go to another game from last night just because, I mean, that's the only way. It's Adam Lowry, the captain of the Winnipeg Jets, who had 2 fights last night in the first period of the game. Had a fight and then got a fight picked with him right after he came out of the box after the first fight. So Adam Lowry delivered 2 fights for me.
Go check him out at hockeyfights.com. Liam, for our friends at DoorDash, who delivered?
Last night, I was watching with my girlfriend's dad, and he kept flicking back and forth between the Oilers game and the Grand Slam of curling. And the curling was quite exciting at points. A couple of good shots. I believe Dunstone was the one playing when we were watching.
Did you see
that was pretty good.
Did you see that botcher draw to the button for the dub? That was sick.
Yeah, that was pretty epic. Good Sherwood Park boy. So yeah, the who would have thought the Grand Slam of curling was more exciting last night than an Edmonton Oilers game?
For me, for our friends at DoorDash, who delivered? Jag.
Yeah.
You didn't watch Big Brother last night? Well, too bad. Too bad for you. I needed to pick someone who was a winner on this segment, and I'm picking Jag because he was my pick before the season, as the season started, and he ended up winning, dominated. Shout out to Jag. Shout out to DoorDash. Again, use the promo code NATION25 to get 25% off your first order. Well,
that's definitely what they had in mind for that segment, right?
This is a sad episode. We are 22 minutes into this episode, and about 3 minutes ago, we all decided we didn't want to talk about the Edmonton Oilers anymore.
Oh, I decided that last night sometime.
Yeah, like last night. So immediately what happened last night is the game ends, and obviously they go into sports desk or whatever it's called. And I'm just like, nope, not doing this. So I flipped over to AMC that was showing The Departed. Great movie. Ooh. AMC delivered with The Departed when I needed it.
Dude, you know, I have not watched Sports Center the day, like I won't watch the day after a loss. I haven't watched, like, it's terrible, man. I look up right now on the Pat McAfee show on that should be like my blessing. That should take care of me. You know, what they got on, they got Wyshynski on. They're talking hockey. The American shows are talking hockey, and our team is going down the damn toilet. I got nowhere to turn right now.
Well, at least we're flying to another country to watch the Oilers play. That's I'll get to the nation vacation for a second because we're leaving today for Seattle. We're going to make the best of this trip, damn it, no matter what happens. I promise we are going to have fun, boys. I promise. I can already see the pizza sitting in my lap at the Seahawks game on Sunday. I want to talk a little bit more about the loss to San Jose. The word rock bottom got thrown out everywhere last night. Is that kind of what it was for you? Because as I'm watching it, all I could think about was, 1, I don't know how it gets worse than this. 2, how fucking hilarious Gregor is going to look for the next 6-7 months. That's really all I went. So now my brain, the Oilers have broken my brain to the point where I'm back to gallows humor with this team. And I didn't think I'd be there this year. I got to tell you. So where were you guys at as the game was playing out? What was the mindset? Where were you watching? What were you thinking? I know, Liam, you were watching with the missus' dad. Tyler, where were you?
I was watching at home because I was doing pre and post game duties. So first off, I PVR'd because I wanted to see the end of the Big Brother finale really bad. So I PVR'd the first 20 minutes of the Oilers game, 30 minutes of the Oilers game. And I was like, oh, that way I can skip the commercials. It's very enjoyable to watch a hockey game that way. And then my phone just starts blowing up. And I'm like, oh boy, something either really good is about to happen at the end of the first period or something really bad is going to happen at the end of the first period. It was something bad. In case you didn't know. So I watched it at home. I was tweeting things like, this is painful watching the Connor McDavid era become unraveled. And then when they got that power play, when it was 3-2 at the end of the game, I was kind of like, I'm going to look like a bit of a jackass if they win this game. And I've been tweeting about how the Connor McDavid era is going to end.
I hate that. I can't fight it. I can't fight it very much, but man, oh man, do I dislike this narrative. That's, I know, like I said, I can't fight it, but it's, God, do I hate this.
I'm having a hard time not seeing this as the beginning of the end of that era. And I hate even saying that, but the reality is that's just where my gut is. And it just sucks. Everything sucks.
But yeah, man, does this season keep going like this?
Nah.
3 games ago, we said it was just like a little blip, and we'll,
Can't wait
we all
Games
tried.
ago.
Can't wait for that 10-game heater and garbage time to end off the season. It's going to be electric,
We tried to talk you off the ledge last week, Rick.
Yeah, now you guys are sitting there with me.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm on the ledge.
I might start pushing us.
You know what? You don't need to push me. I'll do Jim. Dan, where are you watching the game? What was your vibes last night? Shea Gallant during the Oilers Sharks game.
I watched from bed. Watched the full 3 periods with Mandy and our youngest, and I dropped more F-bombs than were their goal scored. It got progressively more frustrating, and then that goal in the 3rd period. I mean, there's no more deadly of a dagger than that, especially for this team this season, knowing the struggles that they have scored in the 3rd period. Then you come out and you get a 2-goal deficit right off the bat. It was a frustrating game, but I mean, I said it when we were watching the Rangers game. When I was watching the Rangers game, Rogers Place, it just feels like you're watching the Decade of Darkness again. There's just line after line. No line can get anything going. The San Jose Sharks stopped more passes last night with their sticks than like the Edmonton Oilers have completed this season. It was insane. It's frustrating to watch, and it's fascinating to watch every single night. A new way for us to lose.
Rick, where are you watching? What are the vibes? Shea, Rick.
I was watching at home by myself because I'm not very enjoyable to be around in these times of the year.
Mm-hmm.
The vibes are very low. Yeah, those are the 2 questions, right? No, dude, everything sucks. At first I sit back in my couch. Then things don't go very well. So this is like the same thing with like video games. You're playing like this. Things aren't going. Oh, all right, hold on. Let's get to the front of the seat. That wasn't working. So I moved up to the table. I was sitting on the coffee table. I moved over to one seat to the right. I was almost sitting like inside the television. I was getting so close, but whatever I do, it was the wrong thing because we again lost.
Yeah, it's painful. What else can you say? I probably burned a hole in my carpet last night just lapping around. I've got that like thing where you're just dejected, walking in circles around the living room, standing 2-3 feet from the TV, hands on the hips, wondering how this all happened. How God raised me to love this team.
Are we sure this is not just like a bad dream right now? Like this season is supposed to be a big season, right?
Might be. Is it October 11th yet? Has the season started?
Yeah, it's not working.
How did you guys feel when Nuge scored? Because I didn't know how to feel.
But I want to be excited, but like I couldn't. I couldn't even get there. My dude scored. He needed a goal in the worst way. I mean, a lot of guys need a goal in the worst way, but Nuge was one of those guys. He needed something good to happen. He got it. And if this was last season, I would have just gone, here it comes. Here we go. But this year, I couldn't get excited.
Even when they got the power play, I just sat there and I thought, I can't put myself through this. I just have to just let this one play and see what happens at the end of the day. I just sat there with my hand on my head, fingers through my hair, and my girlfriend and her dad just looked at me and thought, wow, you're really invested in this. And I thought, if this team's bad, my life is not going to be good for a while. So it's tough. It's tough times.
The good news is we only have 71 more games to cover. Well, the other good news is that Jack Campbell made his first start for the Bakersfield Condors last night. It went extremely well.
Another good news, there was a plane crash. Like, okay.
Anyway, Lachlan from Canucks Army. He made his way to Abbotsford for us last night on behalf of Oilers Nation. We kind of got an exclusive out of Campbell, which I thought was pretty neat. So I guess if there's good news, that is maybe it.
What did we get? I didn't see this.
Okay. Well, let me tell you, Rick.
Please.
Lachlan, he's a writer at Canucks Army. We found out that Campbell was getting the start in Abbotsford. So we got him credentialed. We sent him to Abbotsford.
That game must not have been in Rogers Center or Rogers Place. I mean,
no, it definitely was not. So he got to speak to Campbell after the game, and let me give you some quotes
Please.
Let me know what you think. I would love to know your opinions on these Jack Campbell quotes. When asked about it, nothing here is surprising, by the way. When asked about it, pretty tough. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty hard on myself. I think that's well documented around the hockey world. I felt like I was playing well. I had some confidence, but obviously the numbers weren't good enough. Thoughts?
I don't know, like even like that one goal, the one that kind of like comes off the camera's in the bottom left corner, and we see it's like I don't know how that puck even goes in the net. That's not even bad goaltending in my estimation. Like it is, but it's not. Like, did he do anything wrong? He was there. He looked like he had everything covered. That puck just goes through him somehow. It's almost
I think that's
everything's going on with our season, though. It's like everything's going wrong with our season. Connor makes, Leon makes a cross ice pass and it goes off like the flush of the shaft of a stick. Like it just does not go anywhere. It doesn't ricochet and go ahead a bit like their second goal did. Like we don't get a bounce.
Let me.
Shout out to the Condors for making Jack feel at home by giving him a breakaway on the first power play of the night.
Fuck yeah.
That was fun.
I quote, "It was nice to get out there tonight, even though it didn't go as planned." The decision,
was that from the last game or his previous games with the Oilers?
No, this was after last night's game against whoever the Condors played, the Abbotsford,
Canucks
dudes. When asked about going down and being waived, I was pretty surprised. I'm not going to lie. It's not been fun up there so far this year. We're working through it and obviously looking to get the results going. And hearing the news was very, very difficult. I felt great in the preseason, felt really good in the games I played, but it's a results league and I wasn't quite good enough. It's a tight-knit group. I saw that right away, even in training camp. What they bring to the rink, the energy, the fun they have, it's contagious. Right away, I felt comfortable with the group.
What fun.
Yeah. Spread it to the fans too.
With plenty of experience at both levels, Campbell knows the differences between the NHL and AHL. And he goes, it's a tough league. There are a lot of guys who have the skill to play in the NHL. Sometimes you just need an opportunity or a break. Tonight was about me getting out there. A lot of emotions, a lot of nerves. You want to play well for the group. For me, it's just about staying with my details. I have some things I've got to keep working on to get to the next level of my game. And that doesn't change whether I'm here or playing in the NHL. So I'm really looking forward to having some fun, finding my game, and just trying to get better.
I hope he likes bus rides.
Yeah, I mean, listen, to me, this is just, even if he goes down there and plays well for 4 weeks, which I mean, it's not off to a good start. I just still don't have any confidence that he'll come up and be able to convert that into quality NHL appearances. Like, I don't see that being in the cards when it comes to Jack Campbell. I think, like he just said, everyone knows he's incredibly hard on himself. And I just don't know if he has the ability to power through any sort of adversity. So I'm like, the results last night, I mean, you chuckle a little bit. You feel bad for the guy as well, because this is getting like a ton of media coverage. And it's like, dude, I feel for him. Like, can we not just leave him alone and let him go play down there? But yeah, I don't know, man. I feel for him, but I don't think it's going to get better. I don't have confidence he can flip this thing around.
Liam or Dan, any thoughts on just the Campbell quotes?
I mean, he's not wrong in a way that he was playing better, I guess you could say, this season in some departments. But I mean, it's not like there was much improvement from last season at the same time too, right? Like the Minnesota game was pretty good from him until the third period when he allowed 5. And I get it, your defense made a lot of mistakes in front of you, but you still allowed 5 goals in a period, and that's not good enough. And the ironic thing about it is Stuart Skinner's numbers were worse than Jack Campbell, and Jack Campbell's the one in the American Hockey League. I feel for Olivier Rodrigue the most in this situation, though, because now he's just not going to play in Bakersfield despite having a good start to the season, because they're going to want to give Jack Campbell as many games so they can try and justify paying this guy $5.5 million at the end of the day. And I agree with Tyler. Like, I don't think he's good enough right now, and I have no confidence in Jack Campbell, never mind the rest of this team. Dan, wrap it up.
It's just, you hear those words from Jack, and the guy has become well-versed at, having post-game press conferences after getting lit up. It's just, he knows the things to say. He's honest to a fault. He always has been. And I think he's just going to keep saying that stuff until he's either back in the NHL or on his way out.
Tyler, a lot of people talking about goalie trades. Even Elliot Friedman made it seem like there might be something working. What do you think about the goalie markets? Is there even a possibility to make a trade? We're talking about, there's no way UC Saros lands in Edmonton. I just can't see it happening. So what does that actually mean, Tyler? What do you think? What is Frank saying? What are you hearing? What do you see when you investigate the internet?
Well, so I know like someone today was like, oh, what about Peter Mrazek? And it's like, well, like, again, he's not a solution here. And I think any deal you're making needs to have Jack Campbell going back the other way. And you need to be paying whatever significant future assets it's going to cost for that to happen. So like, I like the idea of a young goalie somewhere like Mackenzie Blackwood in San Jose. San Jose has a ton of cap space this summer, like 35 mil. If you can go give San Jose 2 first-round picks and Jack Campbell, and you can get Mackenzie Blackwood, like that's an insanely steep price, but you're out of the Campbell contract. You got a 26-year-old goalie, and you go from there.
Can we start trading our 2029 and 2030 first-round picks like they do in the NBA?
Yeah, how far away can we go? How
I think
far?
you say 3.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Liam, what
I
do you
think it's
think?
3.
What do I think of the goalie market? I think if the Oilers are going to get a goalie, it's not a goalie that's going to do much to help them. Like it'll help them, and it'll probably be an improvement on Campbell, but that's not much at the end of the day. Like I agree with Tyler. I don't see Saros being here. Binnington has been linked, and at the end of the day, St. Louis would basically just have to give up on their own season to trade to trade Jordan Binnington. So I don't know if they want to do that already. Like Blackwood seems like an option, and like the other guys would be guys like Montembeau or like a Jake Allen or something like that. And he's like, is that really helping? Like,
everything's going to be a Band-Aid. The only solution out there is a Band-Aid right now.
There was
and
like,
we have like a multiple gunshot wound here, and your little Band-Aid ain't going to do shit.
Everybody find a hole and stick your finger in it so we stop bleeding out. Anyway, I'm choosing to have fun. And I think the only thing I'm really looking forward to, regardless of these conversations, is getting the updates from Gregor. I think that the real missed opportunity last night was not having a live cam on him streaming the entire game, because that would have probably been hilarious. What else is the next on topic? Oh, Ryan Rishaug, did we talk about this? No movement on the coaching front. It's the right move.
Yeah.
Other things from the comment section. I'm digging into ON's comment section right now, and the number of people legitimately recommending that the team trade Draisaitl as part of the solution to this problem is staggering, and I'm curious about your thoughts on the whole thing.
I don't. Right now, I understand the desperation and the frustration, so I'm not going to like roast anyone for saying it. And I kind of hinted at this when I wrote the other day, like if they're going to. Rick, would you like to take over?
No, I have nothing to say. I'm just, yeah.
It's hard to envision a summer if this doesn't get better where they don't make drastic changes, and it's almost impossible to move Evander Kane. Zach Hyman and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins both have no movement clauses and are in their 30s and have a lot of years and likely don't bring you back anything of value. On the blue line, Darnell Nurse is untradeable. Like you could trade Cody Ceci and Brett Kulak, I guess, but are you not just shuffling the deck chairs on the Titanic there? Like if they are going to make substantial, significant trades, like it's probably 29 that goes out. Like it's not going to be 97. And if Draisaitl sits there this summer and says, oh, I'm not signing an extension until I know things are going to get better, then you might have to have some hard conversations. I don't think it's going to come to that, but I can at least see where people can make that connection.
But these players have to look at themselves in the mirror, right? Like they can't just sit here and look at the GM and say, hey, make this better. Because it's the on-ice product is there. It's supposed to be there. Everybody said it's there, but right now it's the guys with the skates on their feet that are letting each other down. Like I don't know if, as a player, I don't know if you can look outside that room right now, outside of just like what we're doing right now, going, please help us, anything, please, please, please. I don't think you can sit there and logically look outside the room and go, you guys need to be better for us. That team needs to, they can be better. They can be better. But I'm just saying, like, you need to have self-accountability right now. And I think first and foremost, it's the guys with the skates on their feet that are letting the team down right now.
You think number 29's taking any sort of accountability here? When you watch him play, do you go, that's a guy who knows he's got to be better right now? Because I sure as shit don't.
I understand where that comes from, but I've got that same German blood coursing through my veins. And that his answer last night when he was like the whatever his sarcastic answer was, I've been there.
Okay.
That's me 15 years ago. I get it. I understand. Like, it's not the right way to do it. Don't get me wrong, but I understand where that's coming from. And yeah, it's killing them. They care. They want to win. They have zero confidence. They couldn't fight their way out of a wet paper bag right now. It's frustration. Nothing that you normally did that goes in the net is going in the net. Nothing. The only goal he had in the last little bit is that one with the stupid goaltender behind the net. He had a wide open net. Other than that, nothing is even coming close.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like, I just look at him. He was very frustrating last night because he's on his own line. He's getting the only drivers on that line were Holloway and Fogle. Leon Draisaitl, I don't think, took a hard stride in the first 30 minutes of that hockey game. And I think he knows that if he does that, eventually he gets thrown back on 97's wing and it's fine. And if they lose a game, then hey, whatever. Look, the three centers doesn't look. I'll get to play with McDavid again. I've seen so little from him, even though he has 15 points in 12 games, which is crazy to look at. Like, still good production. I just look at a guy last night that until the third period, when it was like really wake up time, he didn't look like he gave much of a shit. And that's incredibly frustrating because the only time it feels like he shows any passion is when he's snipping back at the media and press conference, which at times is justified. He gets asked a lot of dumbass questions. I fully understand how frustrating that would be. But dude, act like that on the ice. The only other time is when he's running around deciding to slash guys and take penalties at the end of games. Like, I don't know. I would love to see him go out and be more of an emotional driver for this team and play with a little bit more passion than he is right now.
I think that's fair. I wouldn't trade him. I know that was kind of the start of the question. I just don't see how you can move on from a guy of his talent. And maybe this is just who he is when his confidence is low, but there's times like in the playoffs where we've seen him like be the best player on this team in moments, right? And I agree, like the effort's not always there, which is frustrating, but he's not the only one at the moment that doesn't have a lot of effort. And he's the guy that needs to have it the most so because he's one of the best players on this team. And we can talk about the depth on this team all we want, but when the stars aren't showing up, the depth shouldn't be held accountable for that.
100%. So there's the take on Draisaitl. I got to talk about the nation vacation because we do leave today. Our friends at Alberta Blue Cross are involved in making this happen. If there's only one thing better than sharing memories, and that's making new ones. Alberta Blue Cross Travel Insurance protects your memories and more wherever travel takes you. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/travel for more information. Tyler, Rick, and myself will all be on the nation vacation to Toronto. So boys, what are you expecting? Like, we're going into Seattle. We're going to Climate Pledge Arena. We're going to go check out a new barn. What vibes are we carrying with us to the airport today?
Well, it'll be pre-alcohol, so they're not gonna be great vibes.
That's fair.
You ever eat like Eeyore? That's what I am right now. I'm Eeyore. You can call me Eeyore till we get back to 500 or get close.
All right, Eeyore.
Thank you.
Yep. I feel like Eeyore too.
I mean, we'll have fun because we always have fun on these things. So again, it'll be a good time. I'm excited to see the inside of Climate Pledge Arena. I've heard awesome things about it. I've never been in myself. I like Seattle as a city as well. I'm excited to see some football. I think it'll be a ton of fun. Like we always make the most of these, even if the team doesn't win. So I'm hoping they win. Because that would be fun if we could at least go out on Saturday night and be riding, even if it's a tiny high, some sort of a high. But these trips are fun, win or lose.
Yeah, it's going to be different. I think their fans are going to be fine. So I don't think they can sit there and like poke us because, like I said before, I'm rather sensitive right now. But yeah, I'm excited to get to this football stadium.
I'm excited about you. Listen, I'm excited to go watch the Oilers in a different city. It's always fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the football game. I'm looking forward to Aqua. I think that we're going to make fun in this weekend, regardless of what happens. And that's something that only Oilers fans can do. We've watched a very bad team for a long time. We made fun of it. Now it hurts. It sucks. But I think that we're going to make some memories here. in line with what happens with Alberta Blue Cross. And I think we're going to have a good time regardless. I'm feeling optimistic. No?
All right, I'm optimistic too now.
I'm optimistic about my chances of having a beer at Chili's.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah.
If they start chirping you at the stadium, just remember the lawsuits.
What lawsuits? I don't want a lawsuit.
I would just think of Ty Domi fighting the fan in the box.
Oh,
Look at the lawsuits, Ty.
I ain't falling into the box.
If people start chirping me in the stands, I'll just go, man, whatever you say to me is nowhere close to the horrible things I say to myself.
I'm not good enough at doing that.
Yeah, I'm a Oilers fan my whole life, man. You can't hurt me. They hurt me. Oh shit! I just got a text message. My car got sold. I've got no car. Interesting.
Congrats.
Shout out to whoever bought the Stelvia. It is a fantastic car. I will be walking everywhere. Tyler, can you pick me up on the way to the airport? Yeah. Shit. Oh man, I prepaid for parking. Anyway, we got Rockstar parking if you pick me up, Tyler. Okay, sounds good. Moving on. There we go. Red Nation vacation coming up. I know the boys have got Oilers Nation every day to do. So we're going to kind of wrap up the podcast with some hot and cold performers. I've got fun buttons at my house and I'm in control of these. So let's just wrap up the podcast. Let's get this out of the way. For our friends at Greta, they are our hospitality partner for the season. We got events coming up later in the year. Head down to Greta. If you're feeling sad about the team, play some Mario Kart. Always makes me feel better. Sometimes it's nice to take out your aggression by throwing well-placed red shell. You know? Mm-hmm. We all know that to be true. Liam, you are first up on my screen. We're on the left. For our friends at Greta, I am going to give it to you, sir. Your cold performer of the week.
The Oilers' efforts.
That's just it? Just Oilers' effort?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Pretty easy. Yeah, there you go.
There. Tyler, you're on the opposite side of my screen. Your Greta cold performer of the week. That was a machine gun.
My cold performer of the week, even though we haven't seen it in the last week, it's been bugging me. It's the Oilers post-game awards that they're doing now. The painter and the plumber. Dumb as shit. They used to have a really cool motorcycle like vest thing or the motorcycle helmet. Those were cool. That would get me excited. I think the reason the Oilers are losing is because no one wants to play so good that they have to put a plunger on their head. So that's my cold performer of the week.
It's official. You suck.
Major Dan, you're up. Your cold performer of the week.
I'm just going to give it to Jack Campbell. I had a lot of hope for you this year, buddy, and I think that this might be the end for you. So, Jack Campbell, you get my cold performer of the week.
I have fun buttons. Rick, you're up next. Your cold performer of the week.
Well, I'd like to just give it to the whole team in general, but I'll just pick an aspect of it. And this aspect of it I think it's actually still pretty good, but not good enough to bring us out of what we're in right now. It's the power play. We used to need that to get us out of hell. And right now, here we are.
Emotional damage.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Well, I'm going to find myself a button. I'm just going to say this entire first month of the year has been my cold performer. The entire month. I know it's the cold performer of the week, but I'm going 30 days. This has been rough. I'm not happy. And everything is very, very trying on my patience.
Why are you so pissy?
I'll tell you why I'm pissy. The Oilers just tied a franchise record for the worst start ever in franchise. So that's why I'm pissy, Jim. That's why I'm pissy. All right, let's try and wrap this up with some positives here if we can. If we can. Tyler, you're up first. You're Greta hot performer of the week.
I just checked into my flights for the Nation vacation and you boys got 2 window seats. I'm having beers and I'm sleeping on the flight.
The flight's like an hour.
Not just one?
Sorry. What were you guys saying?
You got 2 window seats, not one?
Well, like there's 2 flights.
Van and
Ricky, up next. Your hot performer of the week.
Well, I was going to say Seattle, but I saw yesterday that there's a Beverly Hills Cop 5 coming out. So we'll just give it to that and hope for the best. Or is it 4? I can't remember.
Finally, been waiting. Hey, Dan, you're up next. Your Greta Hop Form of the Week.
Well, we were messaged on the group chat as it happened, but the Edmonton Oilers, known for not being a part of Twitter for a long time and the playoffs and all that good stuff, are now the most popular Reddit chat in hockey's subreddit history. Last night, over 8,300 comments on the Sharks and Oilers game, making it the most popular Reddit conversation of hockey ever. That gets my hop performance.
Oops, that was too early. Well,
there you go.
Liam, you're up next. Your Greta Hop Form of the Week.
My hot performer of the week is the fact that I sat through a full movie this week. I watched
Start to finish.
I watched.
That's not normal for you.
No, it was not. But I was feeling down.
Not even telling him what movie it was.
It was one of those Netflix originals. I watched it with my girlfriend. It was called Love at First Sight. It was a beautiful story.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl 3D.
My hot performer of the week is Oilers fans that stick it out every single night. The ones that come to the website, the ones that watch the shows, the ones that are listening to podcasts like this one. It is tough. It is not fun, but thankfully we're all in this together. And I want to say thank you to all of you for sticking with us. We're going to ride this out together. We will. We're going to do this. We can do this. We'll do it together no matter what happens. And I guess all Oilers fans, my hot performer of the week.
What?
What happened?
Interesting button choice.
What
There was
is
some interesting music.
Never
you
heard
said
that
I
one.
know that song. I hadn't heard that before. I just found it.
Yeah, I gotta go.
I want to thank all of you guys for listening. We are on our way to Seattle. We're going to have some content going while we're down there. We're going to record some pods. So watch out for those to be coming out while we're away. Thank you for being here. Have a great weekend, everybody.